Hello everyone and welcome back to the New York Empoleon's first video of 2023.
And there was much rejoicing.
It is good to say that it is a draft analysis video for Scarlet Violet League, Devil's Den League, DDL, season something, probably not one, but it's probably one. I don't know, season one. We'll go with season one. It's my first season in it. I think it's the first season it's being run. It's run by my good friend, Darkest Devil 26, who is a sublime human being, and you should all go follow. Link is in the description below, as are all of the people in this league. Now, this league is designed as a fun league for friends to have fun. Fun is the name of the game. Fun is the most important thing. We are in this
to win and kill everybody.
The first thing you should know about this league is that this is Fire Emblem. Why is this Fire Emblem? Because we being I, have been playing Fire Emblem basically nonstop for the last week, and Fire Emblem Engage just dropped. It is amazing. I'm having a blast with it, and I decided, as is tradition for all my Pokemon, to be named after people from Fire Emblem. Now, there will be no spoilers in this. This is going to be a fashion show of Fire Emblem, where I try to dress up the characters like the Pokemon that I picked. And there won't be really any spoilers of characters either, because every Pokemon is named after a character that you met within the first 5 chapters of the game. So there's really no spoilers. It's totally just going to be a for fun experience where everybody gets to hang out, watch me dress up some anime girls, and we have a good time. Sometimes they're anime boys. It's just how it is. You have to get over it, okay? It's just not weird if we're all doing it together. That might make it weirder. Anyway, so the other thing you should know about this league is that it was a free draft. There were no tiers. There was nobody trying to tell me who I could draft in any order or when. It's just draft any Pokemon. They were literally tiered by letter of the alphabet, and you could draft anything. They needed to take 11 Pokemon, but there were no restrictions on which 11 other than the few bands that there were. We were the third pick out of 10 coaches, and you got one Terra Captain, period. It didn't matter who it was. It could be anything. You could make it anything that you wanted, but you only had one of them. So my first Pokemon, named after Alir, the Divine Dragon, is Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant, of course, a crazy new Paradox addition to the game. I love Gardevoir. It's basically Gardevoir if you took Gardevoir and smashed it together with Gallade. And it has 130 attack, 120 special attack, and 116 speed. And we are going to try to dress Alir, who Iron Valiant is named for. It's the main character. Iron Valiant's going to be our main character of the season, probably, up like Iron Valiant. I don't have every piece of clothing that I could possibly have. Oh my. That's not what Iron Valiant looks like. Okay, everyone shield your eyes. We're going to go from this side. No, this side looks worse. She just looks naked. Okay, let's see. Iron Valiant. I'm going to go with the Stark dress here, because Iron Valiant's shiny form is just pure silver. And this is as close as I'm going to get to that, so we're going to go with the Stark dress for Alir. No eyewear, because Iron Valiant doesn't have any eyewear, and it'd be weird. I don't actually think any Pokemon do, so you know what? Iron Valiant's kind of cool. We're going to go with the shades. So this is our look for Iron Valiant. We're doing the fashion show version of a Pokemon Draft League. Iron Valiant is my Terra Captain as well, because it has crazy coverage, it has crazy speed, it has crazy mixed attacking potential, it has Quark Drive, so I can use a booster energy to boost either its attack, special attack, or speed, which is kind of nutty. For anyone who doesn't know any of the new items and stuff for Scarlet and Violet, Booster Energy takes if a Pokemon has Quark Drive or Photosynthesis, I think, it takes their highest stat, whatever that is, and it boosts it. If it's not speed, it boosts it by a Life Orb boost, so it's 30%, and if it is speed, it boosts it by a Choice Scarf boost, so it's 50%. So it basically is a free Choice Scarf that doesn't lock you into a move. It's a one-time use item that pops the first time you come into battle, but if it is like your attack that you want to boost, it's going to boost it by a Life Orb instead of a Choice Band. Now, because I have 130 attack, 120 special attack, this thing can be run physical, it can be run special, it can be run mixed, it can be run with agility, it can be run Swords Dance, it can be run Calm Mind, it has all of the things that make Gardevoir and Gallade both amazing Pokemon, except knockoff. It does have knockoff. I lied. It has everything and knockoff. It has, obviously, Moonblast is the most valuable move that Gardevoir has. It also has Spirit Break if you want to go on the physical side. It isn't a Psychic type. It is a Fighting and Fairy type. So that is something to keep in mind. It got rid of the Psychic typing from both of them and put the other 2 types on. But it has Liquidation. It has Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. It's got Close Combat. It's got Aura Sphere for good stab options, so I don't have to rely on Focus Blast. It's got stored power sets, it's got Taunt, it's got Thunder Wave, it's got Destiny Bond, it's got all the things you could possibly want. And if I don't want to run Booster Energy, it's got Electric Terrain that it can set up itself. So it's just a crazy mon. It was my third pick overall. Apparently I sniped a whole bunch of people with it, and I am super excited for it. We're going to move on to my next mon. And the way that I'm going to do this, as you're all going to see, is we have the scene changed. It is a totally new scene, totally different person. You don't even recognize them because they're in different spectacles here. And obviously, this is totally different from before. And you're all very impressed with how different this is. Yes, my next Pokemon is Garchomp. And Garchomp is the only Pokemon on my roster not named after somebody who came from Fire Emblem specifically, because I name every dragon after the color of the dragon and then the word Doa, because it's a joke on Gold Doa that I've been doing forever. Gold Doa, obviously the land of the dragons in Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. And Garchomp is my dragon type. Garchomp is named Bluish Doa because its shiny form is kind of gross blue. That's it. It's Garchomp. We all know Garchomp. We all love Garchomp. Base 108 HP, base 130 attack, and 102 special speed, and 80 special attack is still serviceable for things like Fire Blast, Draco Meteor, etc. But it's Garchomp. It's going to do Garchomp things. It got Scale Shot. It lost Scale Shot pretty quick, but it did pick up Spikes, which is kind of interesting. So Garchomp has obviously some utilities, some utility moves in Stealth Rocks and Spikes. It's got obviously crazy coverage in its ground and dragon stabs, and it's just a Garchomp doing Garchomp things. It's blue. Here's a blue dress on a Leer because I didn't have another character I wanted to show you for Garchomp because it's not actually named after a character. We're going to move on because my next Pokemon is Marth, and I can't actually dress Marth up. So here we go. Here's Marth sitting around the Somniel. I guess it's a spoiler. This is sort of what the Somniel looks like a little bit. Anyway, next Pokemon is Slowking. I can't do dress up for Marth. RIP. Anyway, Slowking got better than Slowbro for the first time in its entire life because it picked up Chilly Reception. And Chilly Reception is a hilarious move that you tell a bad joke, you get a bad reception to it, and you leave. That's the lore of the joke. It's literally, or the move. It's literally like Slowking tells a bad joke, and then it has such a bad reaction that it literally goes away. It goes back into its Pokeball. It's such a bad reaction to the joke. So Slowking picked up that. It is basically teleport, but it doesn't have negative priority, so Slowbro lost it, Slowking did not, and therefore Slowking is better. So we picked up Slowking with Chilly Reception. The other thing it does is it literally starts snow. It's such a bad reception to the joke that it starts snowing as a physical embodiment of how bad the joke was. Basically the same as the meme that is this entire draft analysis. So Slowking is a more specially defensive option. It's 95 HP and 110 special defense, but it still has Nasty Plot and Calm Mind options. It's got Iron Defense options as well, and it's got Regenerator. It's a great mon. It does everything it's supposed to do as a bulky wall to support Iron Valiant and Garchomp. That's why I wanted it. Okay, bam. So we're back, obviously in the same place, doing the same thing. This is the next Pokemon's name. We are going with another Pokemon that I can't use as a dress-up option, which is too bad because I think King Gambit deserves more. But anyway, we are here with Sigurd, the King Gambit, and I have not really gotten a chance to see how broken Supreme Overlord actually is as an ability, but it seems crazy because if all your mons are dead, it's just like a free life orb that just exists. Plus, it still has Defiant, and that's really good. And 135 attack is no joke. This thing hits like a truck. So, it's Bisharp, but better in many ways, bulkier, and also just super solid typing. Gave me my Steel type, gave me another Rocker, and gave me a late game option that takes advantage of things dying, because that's something that this game added, and I actually kind of think is really interesting. The fact that when Pokemon die, like, other things get powered up. I think that's actually really cool that that's a part of the game that was never utilized before. It was just like things died and they were dead. And now it's like things died and that doesn't mean they're dead. Revival Blessing is banned, but King Gambit's not, and King Gambit has Supreme Overlord, so just because my mons go hard early, I love breakers that end up dying in the game. I never play games for big differentials. King Gambit's just perfect for my playstyle because it just comes in when the game is like in a closing state. I might be down by a little bit, and it's the kind of mon that can pull you back because that's how I play my end games. It's really something I enjoy. So really like King Gambit, gave me a couple of good types as well in Dark and Steel, and I think this thing is going to do work for me this season. All right, we have a Leer on the screen again because my next mon is Gengar, and Gengar is Lumera. Lumera is Alir's mom and is not a playable character. I can't dress up Lumera. So I did a really good job of planning this out and making sure in advance that everything was going to work, and not doing this in one take, obviously. So Gengar, you all know Gengar. You love Gengar. It's just Gengar. It's Gengar doing Gengar things. We're just going to have a Ghost Poison type. It's a grounded poison. It got Toxic Spikes, which is super wild. So that's awesome. It's a super offensive Ghost type. It pairs really well with everything else I've got going on. My team is looking absolutely nutty right now, which is super awesome because that's what you should do in a free draft. Why not go crazy and have a good time? So that's Gengar. It's just Gengar doing Gengar things. We're gonna use it, and our next mon, again, we're doing a great job here of making sure that everything has continuity and you all know what's going on, and are able to follow along easily with the things happening. The next mon, obviously, is going to not have a weird transition and everything's going to be totally normal, and we're just going to have it like come up on screen, and we're going to do a dress up session. It's Celica. Nailed it. Killing the game. It's Arcanine. Arcanine will be Celica, who we also can't do any dress up for. So 6 mons in, and we have done one character that we could dress. I told you there'd be no spoilers for this. Celica, the Arcanine here, is, I think, a really, really good fire type. It's actually one of the best mons that was left for fire types. There weren't really a ton of choices. It's bulky, it's offensive, it does everything. No stat below 80 is crazy to me. This thing is just so good. It has Intimidate, it's Justified if I want to avoid dark type attacks. And if I really want to avoid fire type attacks, it has Flash Fire. And it's just super solid. Obviously, boots exist for it. It's just super nice, because you might have noticed in these first 6 months, I have no removal, and we'll deal with that, but not yet. And Arcanine, it hits on the physical side, it's on the special side, it does everything you want to do, and yeah, it gets named after the Honorable Celica. Yeah, but that's okay. Okay, I promise these last 5 are normal, okay? So, we are actually here with another character that I can actually put clothing onto. That sounded weird when it came out of my mouth, especially because the Pokemon is Serena, and we're gonna have to dress this person up to look like Serena. That's gonna be harder than I thought it was gonna be. So anyway, I named Serena after Saline, who is a character. Again, all of these characters are paintable within the first 5 chapters, so no real problem there. Are any of these green? No, but that one's got flowers on it. It's a good start. And no, y'all, she's a child. Don't think about it. It's not important. Don't worry about that. Here is our Serena outfit. There's nothing green, there's nothing pink, right? I didn't see anything pink. Maybe the red is closer to pink. What does Serena's shiny look like? Oh, it's like purpley. Okay, maybe we can work with purple here. This is important. I gotta do this before I start talking about the Pokemon. Obviously, there's nothing purple. So maybe it's this one? You know what? Let's go with the Crimson Gown here. It's super sweet. Serena also does have some pretty cool, like, eyelashes, and that can only be represented by not having the top of spectacles. So, whoops. So, no, stop that. Go back to Crimson Gown. So, Serena, the spinner. It did actually keep spin. Unlike everything else this gen, Serena kept spin. This is on the screen is what Serena looks like. Obviously, hope you are all excited for the season where I get to use this for the first time. I've never actually used Serena before, so this will be actually really exciting. It's a physical attacker. It does the thing that it does well, and it does it fast. Not that fast. It's about 72 speed fast. Anyway, it's a good mon. It's a spinner. I needed a spinner. It's a grass type. I didn't have a grass type, and that's really why I drafted it. There's really no other reason for it. It was just a good spinning draft type. It had momentum. It did all the things I wanted to do. Next up is Chloe. Chloe here is going to be, not that, is going to be our Staraptor. Obviously, Staraptor is super badass, and I'm gonna go with the Stark dress for Staraptor. I feel like that works. The color scheme works. It looks good. No glasses because Staraptors. Actually, no. You know what we need? We need some large shades. God dang it! I keep doing that. So go back to the Stark dress. There it is. Staraptor is here, being awesome, and is named Chloe, who is a Pegasus rider. That's kind of why I did that. Spoilers, I guess, but it's just a character's name and a class, so don't worry about it. Staraptor has Banded Reckless, everything. It just does things. It has Intimidate because I wanted a second Intimidator because I'm greedy like that. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. It's just a great mon that does cool things and is awesome and hits like a truck, has base 100 speed, which I only had Iron Valiant and Garchomp reaching so far on my roster. It has Reckless with Double Edge and Brave Bird. It still has U-Turn. Of course it lost Defog because everything lost Defog, but in some matchups, sometimes you just want to intimidate Final Gambit. In some matchups, you want to spam Heat Wave and Hurricane and be a special attacker with base 50. sometimes you want it. You know, you never know what you need in a matchup. Sometimes there's a fortress, and you're just like, you know what, Heat does a lot more than Brave Bird does, and I don't take any recoil for it, so let's do it. And so you just roll with it, and that's exactly what Chloe embodies. I have no idea. I've only played like 8 chapters of the game, but I assume that's what Chloe embodies is chaos and awesomeness, and being just a general cool human. Fram, I think. I always want it to be From. I'm going to call it From. It, her. It's a her. What am I doing? And this is Frostmoth. Fromsmoth. Oh, that's too easy. Who is also probably... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Is also just going to wear this cool dress and just some normal spectacles, because I think Frostmoth has some cool normal spectacles, but the white looks right for Frostmoth as well. Bram, Frostmoth, Bramsmoth is a special tank. Just flat out. I mean, this thing does not die on the special side. It does not matter what you hit it with on the special side, but more importantly, Titan got sniped. And I wasn't going to draft anything like super hail related, but did you know that because of the change to snow, that it gives ice types plus 1.5 physical defense as well, that suddenly Frostmoth can take a flame charge from a Talonflame? That's crazy, as long as snow is up. So figured it was good to have an ice type. It kept defog, which was also a really important reason for drafting it. It never dies on the special side. It has Quiver Dance and does all the things that Frostmoth did before. It has U-turn, Quiver Dance, all the things you could expect. And it's just generally, solid. It's just solid. I think people disrespect it, but I think it's really solid, and I think it's going to be doing some serious work this season. I really hope to see it do the same thing it did for me in that tournament that I did that one time, because that was the only other time I drafted it, and I had a blast using it, prepping with it, and seeing my opponents flounder in the face of an unbreakable special wall. And it's just a true wall in the sense that it doesn't die. It's not a true wall in the sense that it actually also kills things. It's more of a tank in that, because it also, it hits things back really hard, which is the difference between a wall and a tank. A wall just absorbs hits and never does anything back. A tank takes hits and then also dishes things back. So it's actually a tank, but it's a true wall. And we're going to give Frostmoth honorary wall status because that's what it's for. It's just the truest specially defensive mon that I could possibly imagine, and it gave me an ice type that benefited from snow. It also has Aurora Veil, which is interesting. I don't know how much that's going to be used, but it's interesting, and definitely something that I will consider in the future. All right, we're moving on to the next mon. This is Electros, and I have to figure out what the heck Electros is going to be looking like here. Are there any of these that make you look like, oh my. Oh my. Oh my. So, this guy, you know what? That's Electros right there. And Electros has some pretty cool glasses on. We're going to go with the square specs. It's kind of got that thing looking on. Look at its eyes. It kind of looks like that. Anyway, so Electros, not Frostmoth. Electros here is, as a mon I haven't used in a long time. I love it. I love its design. I think it's interesting. An electric type levitates super cool. And it's got mixed attacking, stats for mixed attacking. It's got U-turn and Volt Switch, depending on whether you can't spam electric moves. Got good coverage on both sides. Of course, unfortunately, it did actually lose knockoff, unlike that other time that I mentioned that Iron Valiant lost knockoff, and I was lying. I am not lying about this. But it's got T-Wave, it's got momentum, it's got solid stabs, it's got bulk up and coil sets that it can run. It's got, really random moves that you just wouldn't see coming from a mono electric type, such as Liquidation and Grass Knot, and it picked up Close Combat at some point. I don't think it had that before. So it also can learn Electric Terrain to set it for the Iron Valiant. So Electros just seemed like a mon that wasn't weak to ground. As you may have noticed throughout my roster, Gengar, Arcanine, King Gambit, I was having a problem with ground weaknesses, so I was at the end of my roster, Serena, Staraptor, Frostmoth, Electros, really trying to solidify not spamming EQ against me, and I think I did a good enough job of that so that they don't spam it against the mons that are super offensive and a little bit weaker to it, and they are forced to maybe be more risk averse because there's mons that are immune or resistant to it on the other side. So Electros filled that role of electric type that wasn't weak to ground, and just gave me a really interesting, unique alternative angle of attack because it is just a good coverage mon with some cool setup options. And it's just a solid mon, and it's got a fun design, and that's why we're here. So Louis, welcome to the team. There's one more mon. We're doing this live because I'm really good at this game, and let's find the outfit for Gyarados. Aw, yeah, it's the plaid vest. All right, good job, everybody. We've done it. We've gotten there. I feel like Blue Sky is also a shout. Actually, that's just way better. So I nailed it first try. Nobody saw anything else. Also, the sunglasses are gone, which is like, I don't know what happened there. But here we are. We got rocking out with the Blue Sky Baller Gyarados. That might be its nickname sometimes. Anyway, another Intimidate, because triple Intimidate, why not? You just need it sometimes. Sometimes you're just like, run an Adrenaline Orb. I dare you to run an Adrenaline Orb opponent, because I'm never going to bring Intimidate, and you're never going to see it coming, because all these mons have really good other abilities that aren't Intimidate. Also have Intimidate, just in case, you never know. I might run Intimidate. Anyway, so Gyarados is another mon that's immune to ground. It is another mon that is a flying type. It is another mon that has a really good physical attack stat. It's another mon that sometimes runs special sets despite having basically no special attack stat. And it has really interesting moves. I mean, Gyarados, it's been well established that Gyarados does the job it's supposed to do. It's a Dragon Dance setup sweeper, obviously, but sometimes you're just using it as a taunt Thunder Wave machine that just never dies. It is a mon that can set up random weather forms and do cool coverage things like Earthquake and Iron Head. It does all of the things you want it to do and more, and it still does it without Flying Stab, because I didn't actually Terra this thing, so I can't use Terra Blast Flying anyway. So unfortunately, this thing lost basically every possible way of doing Flying Stab. It doesn't have Bounce anymore, which I think is really funny that they took Bounce away from this. So it literally does not have Flying Stab. There is zero way, if you do not Terra Gyarados, for it to run Flying Stab. They took away Mimic, they took away Bounce, they took away everything this thing could do to possibly come up with a Flying Stab that isn't, of course, Terra-ing, and I can't Terra this season, so that's not happening. Gyarados is the final mon on the roster. It is Alfred the Gyarados. This is the end of my draft analysis for the DDL Season 1 ever, and we will see you back here tomorrow for the very first battle. There will not be team builders for this because I'm not trying that hard in this league. So there will only be the battles, which are going to be fun, chaotic, and exciting. I hope you're all excited for the first league of 2023, the DDL, the Devil's Den League, hosted once again by Darkest Devil 26, a good friend of mine. Go check them out. Links in the description below. Take care, everybody.